Of tax hikes. Here's Charlotte with more news on that front.
Thanks, Eamon. Yes, and it's petrol prices. They're going to edge closer to a record high today as a penny increase in fuel duty comes into effect. Drivers buying the most polluting new models will also face a so-called showroom tax, paying higher vehicle excise duty for the first year. Paul Brennan has the details. There we go. So we'll wait and see how they do in the summer. I think that was a bit of a warm-up performance, wasn't it? Perhaps not quite what they'll be like in the summer. There's me thinking
it just wasn't my scene, but there we go. It was only a warm-up. Front page. It's a Thursday morning. That is the 1st of April. Mr. James Whale from LBC. He's standing by with the newspapers, and we've got lots and lots to talk about to wake you up this morning. Leading the news, we've got a lot to get through after Charlotte with a rundown of what else is happening.
Thanks, Eamon. And petrol prices will edge closer to a record high today as a penny increase in fuel duty comes into effect. The rise will take petrol prices to...
Yeah, you never hear whatever goes wrong. You just have to tune into Air Crash Investigation years later.
And that's where you find it all out.
I've got them all on tape, Charlotte, if you ever want to see.
I was slightly put off then to see you... What were you doing? Were you sniffing or were you licking one of those
No.
Should
Well,
I be
Charlotte,
concerned?
it's a very, very good morning. And apparently it's a revolutionary new... I thought we'd get Charlotte to test it. I'm not doing it.
Yeah,
but I thought Charlotte
so
would be better.
Can see this. Here's the instructions.
Clever. So here we are, live on television, first ever. Charlotte...
Possibly do it because of my lip gloss. I think you should try it, James.
I'm not doing it.
You are the newspaper reviewer. You should review...
Oh, Charlotte, be a sport. Don't be so pissy.
It may contain nuts, Charlotte.
Charlotte, you know people will only think ill of you if you don't do this.
No.
Okay. We're going to see you...
To email us and tell us whether they think...
maybe we should leave me off. Okay, what else have you got here?
Okay,
we've got this first trial, or this trial for the first time in hundreds and hundreds of years in Britain. Judge only, no jury.
Yeah. I'm in TV. They've now been found guilty. They're going to sort of go to prison for disgusting,
Really?
because most of them ended up being flushed down the toilet. But this is just balmy. I mean, not only did this poor woman get tagged for doing this, she got fined £1,000. I mean, we can go out on a little shoplifting spree later if you want. If we get caught, you want to come? If we get caught and we apologise, fined 80 quid. We
Well...
OK. Thanks very much. That's enough.
No, right. I was going to... The only thing is, I would say... I mean, yeah, that's completely right. It seems unfair, doesn't it, that a lot of criminals go unpunished. A lot of criminals need to do, you know, several crimes before that happens to them. But at the end of the day, if there's a rule in place that says you shouldn't sell pets to underage people, and she did...
Do you think the punishment's disproportionate?
Tough.
Well, then they should just stick it out, even if they...
Look, if you work for somebody... There are so many rules and regulations in place now to protect employees, right? There's all this aggravation. It's just the way Sky treat you.
Oh, let's not go there.
Are you going to start calling your brothers and sisters out on strike? Are you a union member, by the way?
Well,
yeah, I thought so. OK, fine. Moving on.
Let's move on to... Well, you see, I think road manners in Britain have been slowly polluted by influences from around the world.
I'm not in favour of becoming an hour everywhere, as you know. You don't, you've got to sort of...
So that sort of Latin temperament of Hawkins. I mean, I was in Cairo recently, and everybody just had their hand on the horn.
It's less stressful if you just, let people out and try and be nice on the road.
Well, there's a new driver's Bible which will teach you how to be polite behind the wheel, and it costs $5.99, and it's printed by Debrett's, the etiquette people.
And are you going to read it?
I don't need to. I'm proud. I don't need to. I never get road rage.
That's because he's got someone that drives him everywhere.
No, Ruth says I just drive like an old person. That's why.
Well, I mean, I think people have to be more...
Please come back and cause more aggravation.
I shall, yes, actually, yes.
We'll see you there. From LBC, Mr. James Whale. You and Charlotte. Here to discuss this now is Dr. Annabelle Bentley. She's the Assistant Medical Director of PUPA. Film report was on. We know the sins we have committed in the 70s and the 80s. Too late now?
I think if...
has lost its appeal, and it may be with the son, but there's hardly an 18-year-old girl out there who isn't smeared with something orange. Yeah, something that makes them look orange, and that's probably the better option than the way we would have done it.
I think if we're looking at healthier options...
Studio lights, never mind outside. Now, Sky Charlotte here. Charlotte is fair of skin, you're porcelain.
I am, but I don't burn, actually, because I put lots of...
Yes, you don't really go in the sun.
Well, I do sometimes, but I sort of, do make sure that I put my sun protection on. But I just wondered, actually, what are the signs that people need to look out for? Is it just changes in their moles, or are there other symptoms that people should be watching for if they're worried about this?
I think if people are worried about skin cancer, things to look out for are any new moles or any changes in any moles. People with freckly skin, people with red hair, and people who burn easily. There's a little bit of an element of it being in family history. So if you have a family history of skin cancer, that can slightly increase your risk as well.
But these folk now, and they're sick very much indeed. Any emails to finish off with, Charlotte?
Well, no, actually, but there was this one about the April Fools in the newspaper today, and whether it was actually the first page that you could taste, and someone's offered money to charity if I do lick that page, but I'm saying now I'm not going to do it because we know it's all an April Fool. And thank you to Jeff for that suggestion, but no, I'm holding firm at the moment.
But it may not be. Jackie, back in half an hour with all your sports news for the moment. Thank you very much for happening. And I'll have the front pages off the newspapers after Charlotte with this. And bad news if you're a motorist.
It is indeed. Petrol prices going up again. They're edging closer to a record high today as a penny increase in the fuel duty comes into effect. And drivers buying the most polluting new models will also face a so-called showroom tax, paying higher vehicle excise duty for the first year. Paul Brennan has the details. So there we are. We'll see another one of the bands reforming. We'll wait and see how successful this one is.
Would you go?
No.
Okay.
Would you?
Nope. Right. Coming up now on the programme. Call Matt Sky, Charlotte at Eamon Holmes with the tweet addresses. Mr. James Whale, you have been warned. He's in the building. He will review the newspapers after this from Charlotte.
Thanks, Eamon. Plans to cut the price of our mobile phone bills have been unveiled this morning. The industry regulator Ofcom has told providers to cut the amount they charge customers who make calls between networks. The companies are thought to charge cruising for landing.
You wonder what's going through that person who's filming that on their mobile phone.
Yeah, you'd be a little bit worried, wouldn't you?
Disobeyed the captain's order.
You're right, you're not allowed to switch them on. Well, perhaps they thought that was it, and
that's it.
It wouldn't matter.
For the safety people to see. Very good idea, that. James Whale here. I always warn people you're coming on.
I don't know what act of violence against you. I suggest that people think a little more behind me of the woman in the burqa. This is an interesting case. This is a Saudi house.
Actually, ridiculous. When
no.
You saved up your pocket money, you went down to the pet shop, you bought a goldfish.
And then what did you do? Flush it down the toilet?
That's like saying youngsters nonsense. It's a nonsense.
You have to make...
So you put the rights of a goldfish...
All right, hang on.
Time out. To see Rod Stewart.
Time out. You warn people about me, and then you go off on a little tirade.
I'm just trying to wake people up.
Really? You've done that now. Listen, the whole point of this story annoys me. That's why you're doing it. There's a difference between animals as pets and
homeless dogs. Do you know I found a website?
You've been going to do this for years.
I found a website which all full of...
After the programme, we'll talk about dogs, but he cannot be allowed to have a dog. Second place to football. Who's going to look after the dog when Manchester United are playing? We go to a story in the Daily Cancer, and you should be. If you wish to have it, you should be allowed to have it.
Oh, sorry,
very,
passed me by.
Very, very health conscious. Of course, Eamon's just finished his.
Yeah.
Yes. Tomato, egg, bacon.
Me, yeah.
And this isn't an April Fool. This isn't one of the April Fools.
This most certainly is not. Bacon sausage you had for breakfast. Scientists say you've chosen the healthiest option. No, seriously. Hot on the heels of yesterday's chocolate is good for you findings. Researchers say a full English is better for the heart, waistline and blood pressure than carbohydrate-rich cereals.
Sugars to the problem.
OK, a little porridge to start with.
And you know what? No more you.
Thank you.